work.
It is the season of goodwill and review programmes. It's boxing for the next couple of hours. What a 12 months it's been. The heavies stole the headlines. They always do, don't they? They're the glamour boys. Holyfield, Tyson, Lewis. We've seen them all in action here on Sky. Frank Bruno's back. Gary Mason, the former British champion, left the scene. In this programme, we'll see the once invincible Michael Nunn on his backside, the world's quickest knockout, two classic encounters between Tony Lopez and Brian Mitchell. And we'll look again at Billy Hardy's bold attempt to wrest the IBF bantamweight title off Orlando Canizales. And amongst a whole lot more, Tyson against Ruddock, 1 and 2. But we'll start in March. The big fight on the domestic scene, Gary Mason against Lennox Lewis. Mason, the unbeaten British champion. Lewis held the European title. Both were on the line. The winner also knew that a world title shot wouldn't be far off.
Well, the winner was Lewis, the European and now British champion. These were the headlines that we woke to the following morning. Gary Mason, blinded, bloodied and battered. His unbeaten run had come to an end, so too had his career. The press had now adopted Lennox Lewis as the new prospect for that elusive world heavyweight crown. And where did the next domestic challenge lie? Well, our own Glenn McCrory, the former IBF cruiserweight champion, who'd re-emerged as a heavyweight. Remember, he'd started life as a heavy before coming down to the cruiserweight division. He'd been back in the ring in mid-February at Thornaby, not a million miles away from his hometown. The opponent was Terry Armstrong, who Gary Mason had KO'd back in March of 1989. Glenn, if he was to be taken seriously, had to win convincingly. And Armstrong, although having lost 11 of his 19 contests, had gone the distance with Britain's Adam Fogarty 3 months prior to this contest. Well, on the basis of that performance, McCrory didn't have to wait long to get his chance against Lewis. Was he now back on the road to heavyweight fame and fortune? From the Thornaby Pavilion to Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, a world apart, the scene spectacular. The boxers, two of the most colourful in the business. Hector Macho Camacho, Macho Man, whose sense of dress never fails to amaze. The fight was for the WBO light welterweight title. It promised a lot, and it didn't disappoint. It was a grudge match, and the needle between the two lasted the entire fight.
Final 30 seconds of round number 3. Good hand speed by Camacho. You see it inside and outside, and Haugen is rocked with the right hand. Bell sounds to end round number 3. Just past the midway point of round 6. This crowd here at Caesars Palace loving every minute of it. That is it. End of round number 6, and some words between Haugen and Camacho. Minute to go in round 11. Good body work by Haugen. It may have been a little bit low, but no warning. Crowd loves it. We hope you're enjoying it as well. Warning to Camacho for holding. Now, if Camacho was to hold one more time and lose a point, that would negate that 2-point round he had back in round 3. Because Haugen has clearly been the aggressor and a more effective scorer here in round 11. About 15 seconds to go in the round. Camacho just pushing out his punches at this point. Trying to run away from trouble. And round 11 is over. Greg Haugen trying to get the crowd going. Carlos Padilla wants the two fighters to shake hands, and they won't. The bell is sounded. And here comes a point from Camacho. That could be the difference in this fight. And referee Carlos Padilla finally gets the touch of gloves, and Camacho has just lost a point. Remember, he had that 2-point round. We see this fight is very close. If Haugen can win this round, he may get a draw or the win. Haugen trying to apply the pressure, but Camacho deflects away the punches. That is it. Greg Haugen thinks he upset Hector Camacho.
Haugen had. A split points decision gave him the title, but his joy was short-lived. Haugen was later to test positive for marijuana. He was stripped of the title and fined $25,000. Didn't matter too much. He earned 1.2 in the rematch later that year. Now then, the Mirage Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas. You couldn't find a grander setting to stage a heavyweight showdown. This time, the headline makers were the former champion, Mike Tyson, and Donovan Razor Ruddock. This was to be one of the most controversial fights of the year.
Some big shots from both of them. Look at Tyson there with a fast start in round 2. Looking for a right to the head. Oh, and then a left hook, and down goes Ruddock. And he's saying it's only a slip, but referee Richard Steele is counting that as a knockdown, and Ruddock is not happy about that. Good combinations. Then the left hook from Ruddock. He does land with it and suddenly springs to life. So much riding on this one. Neither of them can afford to lose it if they want to get that heavyweight championship. A good left hook from Tyson, and down goes Ruddock. Down goes Ruddock. Can he get up from that? Good left hook. The count's 5. 7. He's up at 7. It'll go to 8 though. I'm okay, he says to referee Richard Steele as the bell goes, and it couldn't have come at a better time. But Tyson there knows now that he can hurt Ruddock. He shook Tyson up a bit there, Lennox.
Yeah, he did.
Don King, the promoter of Tyson at ringside, is looking quite serious now. More left hooks from Ruddock, and then a right uppercut, then another left. And Tyson is taking these. Back he comes and invites Ruddock in for more as the bell goes to end the round. And that was Ruddock's round. So what a fight we have. Oh, nice right over the top. And
oh, that one hurt Razor. Definitely hurt Razor Red.
He took it, but he looks a little unsteady on his feet as he lays against those ropes and tries to take a breather.
Oh,
left hook. He's got him. He's got him now. Then a right, then another left. Back goes Ruddock, and the referee has stopped it. Oh, that is controversial.
Well, controversial it certainly was, and tempers flared in the post-fight chaos in the ring. One man in particular came into the firing line referee Richard Steele, who'd been there before, and this should give you some idea why he stopped the fight.
I hope when I see a young man hurt, I will stop it. Because, you know, we in the boxing business. We're not in the killing business. We don't want to see nobody killed. We don't want to see nobody seriously hurt. You know, a long time ago, they used to walk on the back of their heels and talk with a slur, and, you know, because of too many punches. We are not in the business here in Nevada to have our fighters end up like that.
There was going to be a Tyson-Ruddock rematch and a Lopez-Mitchell rematch. The South African WBA super featherweight champion had travelled to the IBF champion's backyard, Sacramento. This, their first encounter, was also highly controversial.
Some great boxing by Brian Mitchell. Tony Lopez, a great champion from the IBF, a man that lost his title and came back again. Brian Mitchell that's held his for 12 fights, and here he is now defending it for a record 12th time. And I have him winning it as well, but it's all action going into the final 20 seconds.
Great blows raining India, some good combos by Mitchell. Lopez trying to come back.
This is a tremendous fight. It's been a great
bout second, Barry. Mitchell there, wrestling in the middle of the ring.
It's all action.
Like two little Hulk Hogans tight in the middle of the ring here. We won't hear the
bring it to an end. What a fight. What a championship fight this has been.
Judge Dave Moretti scores at 115-113. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a draw.
Mitchell couldn't believe it. Another hometown decision. He eventually gave up his WBA title to secure the rematch. You'll see that later.
And so to April. One of the best middleweight champions of our time is Mike McCallum, sadly without a title now, but sure to be back in the reckoning in 1992. McCallum lost for the first and to date only time when he first fought Sumbu Kalambay, who was born in Zaire but now fights out of Italy. That's going back a few years now. We're concentrating on the rematch here. It took place in Monte Carlo. It turned out to be one of the best fights of the year. We were proud to bring it to you here on Sky Sports. Let's have another brief look.
This was McCallum's third defence of the WBA middleweight title that he won in London in May '89 by outpointing Britain's Harold Graham, you might remember. A year prior to that had come the loss to Kalambay. That also for the WBA title. Kalambay was later to be stripped for agreeing to fight IBF champion Michael Nunn. This, like their first encounter, was to be a tough, gruelling contest. Nothing much between them all the way through. Widely recognised as two of the best craftsmen in the business, they put on a real show for the paparazzi at ringside. It came right down to the wire. McCallum, who'd been in the ring with some great champions, Julian Jackson, Milton McCrory, Donald Curry, Harold Graham, did just enough. He was to retain the crown with a 12-round split points decision, a truly great champion who was to end the year without a title. The Trump Plaza, Atlantic City. The fight?
Condemn. Condemn me. Condemn me. History will absolve me. Singing, this will be the day that I die.
Good right that from Holyfield. As Foreman was lining up the jab. But Holyfield showing a tendency that he's prepared to mix it more and stand with trade with Foreman, and that may not be such a smart idea. Not this early, anyway.
Yeah, but you know, Foreman hasn't caught him with any clean punches.
Yeah, well. Left hook from Foreman. take 2 steps back. Foreman has a very composed look on his face. Carries the air of a man who knows what he's about. Now look at this from Foreman now. This may not be all over. Holyfield just taking a break a little in this round, and Foreman encouraged by that. Not over yet, into the second half of the contest, round 7. Very few people thought this would go this far. Oh, he's got him with a right there, Foreman. And Holyfield's legs splayed a little. Whether he was off balance, I don't know. Foreman still looks pretty strong. This time he's looking for that devastating uppercut inside. Holyfield having to take these now. Holyfield, I think he was shaken up by that punch, and he's covering up. Punches starting. Holmes got a good chin. Holyfield, back he comes with his own left hook, but bad moments for the champion at the start of round 7. Can Foreman do it?
Well, this is quite remarkable because Holyfield is now standing still. He's been reduced to the same speed as Foreman, and his mouth is definitely dropping open.
Look for the way Holyfield comes back. Oh, he's letting the hooks go, and Foreman is in terrible trouble now. He's tottering, he might go here. Oh, he had to take a dozen really meaty hooks from Holyfield, and Foreman did very, very well to stay on his feet there. But that will have taken a lot out of him, that assault.
It's also taken a lot out of Holyfield.
Could have punched himself out. But what a round this is. Foreman started it real strong. What a comeback from Evander Holyfield. The right uppercut, twice landed inside. Holyfield is breathing heavier, looking more marked around the face now. And this now is developing into a very good scrap. Great jab, Foreman. And again. Holyfield holds on. Bounces off those ropes. There are calls of get out of there from his corner. Worried that he'd get trapped in the corner and nailed by one of those big booming rights from George. Foreman, who ranks right up there among the biggest hitters in heavyweight history. 65 knockouts in 69 wins. Incredible.
Both hands are free.
Starting to think the money, and there was a lot of it, was pretty well spent.
Keep him up.
Holyfield is a magnificently conditioned fighter, and he's needed that conditioning, and he will need it, I think. How much has Foreman got left? How much can he have left? Oh, he got him with a right. Then a left. Foreman. He can't go down this time. Surely he can't stand up again from this assault. He gets the gloves up. Shows tremendous resilience. And you have to take your hat off to George Foreman. How is he doing this? On the right, there was a good left to the body, and there another left hook from Foreman. Holyfield mustn't get careless. He got caught with one himself. My goodness, he took that well. He came back with a good right to the head. Foreman could still be dangerous, and now Holyfield takes another combination and wants to hold on. Well, if they were planning to take Foreman out at the end of this round, they may be starting to have second thoughts about it. 10th round. And look at Holyfield there, just kind of falling around the ring on slightly less steady legs. Holyfield defending his world heavyweight title and has 14 seconds to go. Now it's 12. The bell can't save the fighter even in the last round. So, in theory, Foreman can still do it. The crowd are getting on their feet. Foreman holds on, hugs on. He's going to last home. He's done it. He's lasted 12 rounds. They embrace the two fighters in mutual respect. That was an incredible performance from George Foreman.
Foreman had done what nobody had expected him to do, but at the end of the day, the championship still belonged to Holyfield. More on him later.
Congratulations.
On the domestic scene, they said Britain's best-loved heavyweight was never to box again. No more nights like this one.
Couture's only been stopped twice. He's got him again. He won't get up from that. He's stretched out over the photographers. He'll never make it. He's out, out, out. And Bruno is on his way to a crack at the world title.
It's just one of those things, you know, it's just a torn retina. Life has got to go on. It's one of those things. Things like that do happen in life. We get funny things happen to us.
What exactly are your plans at the moment? What's your next move?
Well, I'm going to get the operation and take it from there, hopefully, and keep fingers crossed, and what happens, you know?
Mr. Baseman.
Was it to be? Back to pantomime for good for Frank. Stay with us.
He was the best fighter ever lived, pound for pound.
That man was beautiful. Timing, speed, reflexes, rhythm, his body, everything was beautiful.
From welterweight to middleweight, he was unstoppable. The immortal Sugar Ray Robinson continues the series of boxing specials on Sky Sports, Friday at 10.
Now, one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the business today is Orlando Canizales. What a great little fighter he is. Canizales is the IBF bantamweight champion. Britain's Billy Hardy came close to pinching the title when he met Canizales in Sunderland. The rematch took place in May in Laredo, Texas. That's where Canizales lives. Hardy was sure to get a hot reception. As if that wasn't bad enough, temperatures were at the top end of the 90s.
Despite the heat, a large crowd turned out to watch the hometown boy Canizales defend his title. But on the lawn of the Texas Civic Center, a fair share of Brits had showed to give Hardy some support. All very reminiscent of the first encounter when Hardy and the majority of the fans in Sunderland thought he'd done enough.
Well, that's it. It's all over. And now we've got to wait in the sweaty palms while we get the decision. And Jim Watt's firmly gone for Hardy. And I must say, if there was any doubt, I certainly thought he won the last round with a cleaner hitting. And it should go his way, but we've got to sit and wait, as you always have to at the end of a world championship when it's a good fight like this.
Well, it wasn't to be, and the decision went to Canizales. Nobody more disappointed than Hardy. In Laredo, the odds and the crowd were stacked against him.
He's the current International Boxing Federation bantamweight champion of the world, El Hijo del Pueblo, Laredo's favorite son,
Oh, that's another thunderous right, and that buckled the knees of Hardy, and he's in a bit of trouble now. Really big punch, and this is really dangerous for Hardy now. He's got to get the gloves up and cover up and somehow get through the rest of this round. The second big right from the champion, and these are nasty moments now for Hardy.
I wish British fighters didn't have so much pride. He should have gone down from that punch just to get his head clear, but his pride just wouldn't let him.
Big round for the champion. Crowd are on their feet. They sense that their man is going to give them the home win. And Hardy here is having a nasty second round. And he's going to need all his conditioning. And at the moment, he's getting out-punched, out-boxed. But this is what the training's about. Now, this third round is not quite as bad as the second. He's trying to stand and trade with him. But the punches are bouncing off Canizales' chin, and Billy Hardy is not a bad puncher. Toney left hook, rolls him over, and I would be surprised if he can get up from this one. Well, he's on one knee. He's up. The count will go on to 8. But, well, Billy Hardy's brave challenge could be about to end here. And still, he needs to cover up. He needs to get away from the champion.
Hardy's absolutely brilliant the way he's come back from what looks certain defeat a couple of rounds ago.
Heroic effort away from home. And the left hook. Hardy coming forward now. Getting common. Oh, he's caught though. Hardy's caught with a left hook himself. Now he's in reverse gear. Wants to get off those ropes. He does. Canizales is a nice fellow, but he's got a kind of cocky, arrogant way about him. He never thinks he's going to be beaten.
That applies to all the great champions, Ian. They've got to have that touch of arrogance.
Again, though, Hardy coming forward, forcing Canizales back. Now, is there just a little nick by one of Canizales' eyes? Try to tell you when we get a closer look. It may have been an illusion. As, again, right this time from Hardy. Hardy really here is starting to get quite confident at the end of the round. That was a good round for Billy Hardy. The judges, for my money, a little bit lopsided. One from Texas, one from Mexico, and Britain's Roy Francis. That's a good right from Canizales, stepping it up a bit in this round. I think Canizales probably will have got to the point where he feels he needs to reassert himself, and how he's done it! Left hook, he's laid Hardy out. Cans come in the ring, referee Bob Gonzalez waves it all over. What a shot! And Billy Hardy is knocked out in the 8th round.
Good win for Canizales. A brave challenge by Hardy thwarted. He recovered quickly enough, and in the cold light of day decided to quit the ring.
I have retired officially, and I'll be sending my license into the boxing board. This has been going on for about 6 months now. It's been in my mind. I've been thinking whether I should retire, whether I shouldn't. I go through a lot of pain in training. A lot of people don't know what people go through, and I've went through a lot of pain.
The middleweight division ranks alongside the heavyweights as the most glamorous. The IBF champion at middleweight was Michael, second to none, to many unbeatable. Until he met James Toney, that was.
That has been that right hand that has been Nunn's nemesis. Nunn using the ropes. Toney takes a wild swing, falls into him, and there's vintage Nunn. On the ropes, big right hand by Toney. Just about the time Nunn starts to get a little momentum, that right hand comes crashing and sends him back. Inside. A minute 40 here in round 11.
As a boxing manager, Tom, I never felt safe with any type of decision. That's a combination of a good shot and Nunn going backwards.
A little momentum provided by Toney sent Nunn back against the ropes.
But what I was saying is I never felt comfortable taking any fight on a decision because you never know how another judge was looking at something. And if Toney wants his championship for sure, he better try to knock Nunn down.
Oh, he did it.
Right there.
He came back with a left, and Nunn is down. Nunn.
They better get their corner
Michael
off, I'll
Nunn.
tell you.
This corner is up. James
Not
Toney
kidding. He's not
landed
going
a
to make it
haymaker,
up.
and I don't think
He's
Nunn's
out.
going to get up. His crowd trying to get him back. Nunn looking at it,
well,
and they're going to let him fight.
I'll tell you,
55
he's on
seconds
clear
to go.
street
Nunn
right
better
now.
be careful. Nunn better be careful.
Oh.
He's down. He's hurt. Will they stop this fight? Toney trying to finish him off. The towel is thrown in.
I'll tell
They
you.
threw the towel in. James Toney
It's that
has
left
just
hook.
stunned
They stopped it.
Michael
We've got a
Nunn.
new IBF middleweight champion
We have
of the
a
world.
new IBF middleweight champion of the world. James,
Amazing,
lights
Tom.
out Toney. Unbelievable. His knockout Michael Nunn in his hometown. Nunn did not know what hit him.
Toney, going into that fight, in some places was said to be a 20-to-1 outsider. He proved them all wrong. Nunn, now 36-1, was later to come back at super middleweight. For Toney, it was onwards and upwards. The IBF super middleweight champion was Lindell Holmes, who at 34, some said was ready for the taking. To others, he was still a good champion. To Darren Van Horn, the former light middleweight champion, he was all that stood in the way of a second world title.
crowd sense and Van Horn senses that Holmes, maybe there's not too much petrol left in the tank, or is there? Then a left hook. Holmes here looks as if he wants to get away, and he's not throwing much himself, and Van Horn takes the initiative in the 11th round. Holmes,
he's desperately tired, Holmes.
He may be on the verge of going here. Are these the last seconds of his reign? Van Horn pummels home the punches, and Holmes is going to have to do very, very well indeed to get through another 1.5 rounds. He's caught by a left to the body. Holmes is down. He was so tired, and I don't think he's going to get up. I think Holmes has been knocked out. He doesn't want to get up, I think. It's all over. Body shot did it. Lindell Holmes' reign as IBF super middleweight champion is over. The celebrations begin for Darren Van Horn. He is the new champion on his debut at super middleweight. He is the IBF champion on an 11th round knockout.
Now, remember that WBO light welterweight contest between Hector Camacho and Greg Haugen? Well, now the rematch. If Camacho was to lose this one, he could kiss goodbye to a $6 million payday against Julio Cesar Chavez. Haugen was equally as determined. Haugen, stripped of the title for testing positive for drugs, had not only been fined, but was also undergoing counselling and rehabilitation, and was being randomly tested to make sure that he wasn't still taking any substances. This time round, they were both on their best behaviour, but Haugen still gave Camacho his fair share of trouble. Camacho was content to hit and run, scoring enough throughout to take most of the judges' eyes. He, however, didn't think he'd done enough. Or he was just a little concerned about the outcome, because at the end of the fight, he ducked out of the ring, only to come back when he'd heard he'd won.
On the domestic front, June proved to be quite a month. James Cook and Mark Kaylor, big buddies outside the ring, went to war inside the ropes. Cook, they said, was too old. Mind you, Kaylor is the wrong side of 30 as well, and he's been around the business most of his life. This one is in the increasingly popular super middleweight division. Kaylor needed to win this fight to stay active. Cook was looking at far greater things. A balmy June evening then, the venue, one of the great British boxing arenas, the York Hall, Bethnal Green.
Kaylor probably had his best round so far in the third, and he keeps up the pressure. Cook, though, coming back with his combinations, a little right to the head from him as well. Cook, 32 years of age, no spring chicken himself. And that's a good right from him over the top, and the uppercut as well. Kaylor had to take those.
Both men are landing with fabulous shots. The fight swaying one way and then the other. At the end of that round, Kaylor just seemed to get his range and catch Cook with a good right hand, left hook. And then now Cook started off very good himself.
You get the feeling that there's more variety about Cook's work. He looks the better boxer of the two, doesn't he, by quite some distance.
When he let his shots go, he let them go with both hands, and they flow from right to left, and it doesn't give Kaylor a chance to really, you know, get steady. He works a lot better inside. Kaylor has got to rely on that long right hand and the left hook.
That's a good right again from Cook. Nice repertoire he's got. Short little punches when they work in close, and that lovely uppercut he's developed. Kaylor pressuring him all the time, leaning on, trying to wear him down. That cut's no worse by the left eye. That's the view you'd get if you were, well, almost like referee Mickey Van. And a good right again over the top, and then another right cross again from Cook. Twice he landed with those. Kaylor, in truth, has never been the most elusive of fighters. Oh, that was a fair right, though. Jolting right from Kaylor. Cook rather walked onto that. But can Kaylor keep up this pressure in his 48th fight? Will the pacey set end up defeating him? Good punches again from Cook. That fanatical training he does paying off here. He's landing with some good shots in this round. Really putting the punches together well. Not so much coming back from Kaylor. And he looked a bit unsteady on his feet there. He was rocked, his knees backward by that right. And you wonder if Kaylor is coming towards the end of his tether.
He certainly looked hurt there. Cook got through with several good punches. Right at the end of it, he just wobbled a bit.
15 punches maybe unanswered. Somebody throws a bit of paper out of vision into the ring there. For what reason, I couldn't begin to describe. Oh, Cook here is starting here to take control in a fairly significant way in the 6th round. Kaylor comes back again. I don't know where he finds it from sometimes.
He has such brilliant determination. When he looks so under pressure is when he comes back so good. He's a very determined boy.
But he's beginning to tire, Kaylor, and he's beginning to tire perhaps significantly. This 6th round may just go down as the start of the end for him, or will Kaylor prove us all wrong? Cook really has put together some very, very good work, like that. And then a right. Kaylor is covering up, and a towel has been put in. They've thrown in the towel. Mickey Van is trying to pull Kaylor off. The corner have thrown in the towel. You're not officially allowed to do that. The referee should stop the fight. Does Kaylor want to be stopped? We have some controversy here, but Jimmy Tibbs threw in the towel. That was surrender. What it means is that James Cook is still the European super middleweight champion, and presumably after what was a very impressive performance, a world title opportunity beckons for him at 32.
Some of you might recognize this. Palm Springs, California. A magnificent setting and a fabulous fight in prospect. The WBC light middleweight title on the line. In the ring, the former world welterweight champion, Donald Cobra Curry, against terrible Terry Norris. It wasn't as one-sided as many thought it might be.
Curry doing what he has done in most recent bouts. Good uppercut by Norris. Working inside. Donald Curry used to be a boxer in the old days when he was younger, but really a few years ago changed into an inside fighter, Ray.
Well, Donald kind of always was a deceptive fighter.
He's hurt. Oh. Curry hurt with the right hand already. Half minute left to go in this round. It's been an excellent round. A right hand by Norris.
Get off his head, Don.
Well, we'll remember round 7 for lots of reasons. Some of it good boxing action. Good hook by Curry. Norris with a combination. Big right hand hurts Donald Curry. He's down. In the waning moments of round 7, Donald Curry goes down.
6, 7, 8, you okay?
He beats the count, and the bell ends round 7.
Don't lay on him.
This has not been an easy match to referee, but Chuck Hassett has had his lapses. Good. Left and a right by Curry. Norris shakes his head yes this time. Yeah, that time you got me, but hits him with an uppercut.
But they're far and in between now. They're far and in between.
Oh, big uppercut by Norris. Curry is hurt. A right hand by Terry Norris. Another right to the side of the head. Donald Curry's holding on. He's ready to go down. Curry in trouble. A half minute left to go in round 8. Terry Norris trying to finish him off. A big right hand by Norris. Curry goes down, and he's hit as he's going down. Donald Curry is bleeding. He's down. And he does not look like he'll get up. It's over.
Another successful defense for Terry Norris. In San Antonio, Texas, in mid-June, came the IBF Super Flyweight title. It was a tough, grueling contest between Robert Quiroga and Kid Akeem.
Left hook there from Quiroga, good one, and Akeem was just, for a moment, staggered by that.
He was.
And Akeem there, in a bit of trouble. Somebody else throws a paper carton, which almost lands on my desk. Blood from the eye of Quiroga. Akeem showed signs of going himself there. The end of a terrific fight for this championship in San Antonio.
The crowd had witnessed a tremendous contest. Unfortunately, they were to see more dramatic scenes. Quiroga won the fight, but seconds after the decision, Kid Akeem collapsed in his corner from a blood clot on the brain. It was the first, but not the last occasion we were going to see that in 1991. Duke McKenzie and Gabby Canizales. Now, that was a night to remember.
That has been a superb boxing display. Quite brilliant from Duke McKenzie. He's outclassed the WBO champion here. Much too good for him, technically. Canizales fiercely comes back with his left hook. Again, he had to take a volley of head punches. And really, I'll say it again, if McKenzie was any kind of a hitter, I think Canizales would be out of there by now. But he's torn up the script in spectacular fashion here. It's been a wonderful performance by Duke McKenzie. And we're into the last few seconds now. In football terms, the referee is looking at his watch.
It's been a marvellous performance. A quiet man outside has got all his talking in the ring tonight.
And there goes the bell to end it. And I think that Gabby Canizales himself knows that he's been beaten. He's been in the game long enough. Nicky Duff is all smiles.
The little man, McKenzie, had done it, the new WBO bantamweight champion. Frank Bruno had had his retina operation and wanted to fight on. The headlines said that he shouldn't bother. The experts believed otherwise.
I'm happy that the particular problem has been successfully treated, such that I don't think he is in any excess danger of future eye damage compared with any other boxer.
Chris Eubank, the WBO middleweight champion, and Michael Watson met. Eubank controversially retained the title. We remember their rematch for far more tragic reasons.
Super Bowl 26 is nearly here. The next stage of the playoffs are the divisional championships. Watch Sky Sports for genuine American football in association with Budweiser. Top action, including favourites Buffalo and Washington, Wednesday at 10.
And now some more heavies. Mike Tyson, he's never out of the news, is he? He makes as many headlines outside the ring as he does inside. Tyson, they said, would be heavyweight champion into the next century. You remember what happened to him, though? We saw it here on Sky. James Buster Douglas took the title away. Tyson wants it back. We saw his first bout against Razor Ruddock in March. It ended with that controversial 7th round stoppage. Now the rematch. Tyson out to prove that the first win was justified. It didn't quite work out that way, though.
We brought you both Tyson Ruddock fights on Sky Movies Plus and on Sky Sports shortly after. It was back to the Mirage, Las Vegas. And would their meeting this time round be as controversial as the first time?
Oh, left hook. He's got him. He's got him now. Then a right, then another left. Back goes Ruddock, and the referee has stopped it. Oh, that is controversial.
I like to tap that over there, though. I come out of bed with girls to fight you.
You know something? There's something you can't buy in that class, and you don't got none of that.
You're sweet. I'm gonna make sure you kiss me good with those big lips.
Oh, good right from Tyson. That shook Ruddock up a bit. That was the best punch of the round. Ruddock gets his gloves up well. The crowd at the back of the arena are on their feet there, but frankly...
He's wobbling. Razor Ruddock's knees are wobbling. He's hurt, badly hurt, Ian.
Well, he was hurt by a right, and again they want to fight after the bell. And if Ruddock was that badly hurt, he certainly wasn't showing it right at the end of the exchange. I think he was wobbled by the right. But Ruddock, if he just could get that jab moving and throw in his right as well. There's a good left, and he's got him again with the right hand.
Beautiful countering right.
So Ruddock, there are only flash knockdowns. You see, he's not really badly shaken up. His head's cleared straight away, but I'm afraid if nothing else happens in the round, even if he lasts through to the end of the round, that will be scored 10-8 against him because of the knockdown. A lot of people in their predictions in the various American newspapers thought this would be over by now. Now Tyson there threw a punch after the bell, and Mills Lane, I think, will have a word about that. There is no deduction to be made, but it was a quite deliberate punch after the bell. Let's go into the Ruddock corner.
A point was just taken away from Mike Tyson, and it was directed by Chuck Minker of the Secretary of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He told Mills Lane to take away a point, I believe, from Mike Tyson.
Stars watching there at ringside in the 500-pound seats, $800 over here. Clint Eastwood, Robin Williams, Bruce Willis, MC Hammer, the rest of them. Star sprinkled occasion now. Now that's a punch after the bell from Ruddock. Now is he going to be deducted a point for that? Let's have a look and see what happens. Yes. A point deducted for Razor Ruddock at the end of the round for punching after the bell. Mills Lane said he is not going to take any nonsense from either of these two, and he's proved as good as his word. Oh, that's a fine left hook from Ruddock. Then the right uppercut from him.
Tyson definitely wobbled, Ian.
Has he got Tyson going here? There's another one. Tyson tries to fire back bravely on the ropes. He leaves himself a little bit open, and these are danger moments for the ex-champion. Gloves seem to go a bit low.
Tyson's groggy.
Tyson's hurt. Tyson is hurt. 10th round again, like in Tokyo. But he's got a great chin, and he holds on for a moment. The head clears, and back he comes. You've got to admire the real fighting heart of this fellow. Look at him come back himself with that left hook. Last 15 seconds of the round.
Tyson's knees were definitely buckled. He was seriously hurt. A big round for Ruddock. You see the split lip of Ruddock again.
Split lip, blood around the mouth, but he's still ultra dangerous, is Ruddock. And Tyson was tottering in round 10. It's going to take a lot out of Tyson if he does win this and get a title shot with Holyfield.
I don't see any great demand for Tyson Holyfield on the basis of Tyson's performance tonight.
Gets in with a right, but the seconds are ticking away now. And did the bell go? I thought the bell had gone there and had gone unheard, but no.
10
right
seconds left.
And there goes the bell to end it. Tyson looks for a right. 12 rounds it goes.
12 rounds, 12 grueling rounds, in fact, for Donovan Razor Ruddock. His face was testament to that, but at least Tyson hadn't knocked him out. Where now for Tyson? On the undercard was one of the toughest men in the boxing business, the Australian Jeff Fenech. 25 fights, 25 wins, 19 by KO. His opponent, the brilliant Ghanaian known as the Terrible Warrior, Azumah Nelson. This for the WBC super featherweight title.
Fenech tends to follow in his punches with the head as well. I know they were worried about that at the rules meeting, the Nelson camp. His head coming close, and this is a good burst now from Fenech. This is his best 20 or 30 seconds of the fight. He started with that right, which did shake Nelson up a bit. So is the tide just starting to turn a little bit here? Now Fenech is really starting to turn on that all aggression, all action style, and Nelson wants to get off those ropes, and quick. Third round, and Fenech staging a comeback after, we think, losing the first two, but look at Nelson come back at him.
Referee Joe Cortez is letting them fight because they are fighting on the inside and with hands free.
Blood underneath the left eye of Fenech, and I think that may have been a clash of heads as well. It happened there as the heads were coming close together, and we'll have a look in the corner to see how serious that is. It looks fairly serious, quite a bad gash under the left eye. And now Nelson starting to counter quite well off those ropes. He took quite a few earlier in the round, the heads coming close together. Look at this, all-out attrition, and he is careless with the head, is Fenech, and he may have paid the penalty himself for the clash of heads. blood very thick from underneath his left eye.
Excellent left uppercut in there by Nelson, zeroing in on the blood. Now Fenech comes back.
And Fenech now, he's had Nelson pinned there for fully 90 seconds. This is an extraordinary little episode in the fight. Fenech trying to unload, Nelson countering occasionally, but this really is one of the great little rounds in the super featherweight division of recent times.
They're boxing and fighting, slugging rather, in such a small territory. It's as though they were fighting inside a telephone booth.
Yes, it really is the old fight in a phone booth, this, isn't it? And that blood underneath the eyes. Nelson ends the round with a left hook, and Fenech tries to throw one after the bell and wants to continue it. Bad feeling, bad blood in there, and literally blood flowing from Fenech's eye. What a round that was. Oh, that was a fine straight right again. That's shaken Nelson up. Is he going to go here right in the closing stages? Bravely, he tries to find the heart to hold on, but he was hurt, and hurt quite badly by that cluster from Nelson, who pushes him and shoves him and really gives him a rough time. And again there, he's shaken up. Nelson here may be close to going, but he ends on his feet, and he may not have lasted much more than another 10 seconds or so. Look at the hugs of appreciation at the end of that brutal and grueling 12 rounds.
And judge at ringside, Dave Moretti scores the bout 114 to 114, a draw. The decision is even a draw.
Jeff Fenech is a great champion. I have nothing but the most admiration and respect for him. And no matter whether Jeff is mad at me or not, I am not mad at Jeff Fenech.
I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want nothing to do with his circus, and that's how he, that's how he performs. His promotion's like a circus. I'm a fighter. I'll do my fighting in the ring, and he can do his little circus acts elsewhere.
On a brighter note, Britain's Lennox Lewis was making headlines again. This time for his KO of Mike Weaver.
I took my time until he exposed himself, and then he exposed himself, and I ended it.
And so to August. Well, there aren't many undisputed champions around these days. It's not so much that we don't have the quality, there are just so many titles available. Pernell Sweet Pea Whittaker is that rare exception. That is, of course, if you discount the WBO title. Whittaker is the undisputed lightweight champion. Here's just one of the bouts from the year. We'll see more of him later, but for the moment, here he is in action against Poli Diaz.
He continues to move around the ring clockwise, counterclockwise. Now he comes back, making Whittaker move, follow him. Whittaker definitely a little off balance, and a left hook. Drops Diaz momentarily to his knees. He bounces right up, but he takes a standing 8 count. Poli Diaz is sticking to the game plan. He's not changing. He's dancing and moving. He's moving around that ring. He's putting in a lot of mileage here tonight, as he slams Whittaker on the back of the neck and is warned about it. A left hand from Whittaker. And Diaz continues to clown. But that time he tripped over a photographer's camera. And we have a time while Al Rothenberg tells the cameraman to get back from the apron. A left hand from Whittaker. He's after him, catches him with a right, puts him down. A wild right from Whittaker. Drops Diaz. Now a standing 8 count. At the bell. We're halfway through round 8. Diaz attempting a combination, blocked by Whittaker. Misses a combination. A glancing midsection shot did no damage. Now he's lunging in at Whittaker. This is what Whittaker wants. He's playing into Whittaker's hands. Combination to the body from Whittaker. 1 minute to go in round 8. Whittaker wants him to come inside, wants him to lunge at him. There's another midsection shot, and he doubles it and brings it up to the jaw. And that may have hurt Diaz. It's hard to tell because he has been clowning. And Whittaker continues to stalk and shoot the jab. Right, left, nice combination. Oh, and there's the clowning again. And now he rushes at Whittaker because Whittaker started to turn his back. So they're both getting a little out of hand here, both getting sloppy, careless. Whittaker wants to be careful he doesn't take one of those wild shots because Diaz is going to do one thing in this round. He's going to throw some wild shots, last-minute bombs, to see if he can put Whittaker down. He's got nothing to lose. And he just butted Whittaker in the face. Now Rothenberg calls both men to the center of the ring and warns, uh-oh. And Whittaker just hit the referee. Whittaker just hit the referee. Very unsportsmanlike. Now the fight is getting out of control. Now Poli Diaz is trying to use his head. That's the second butt now. He deliberately tried to butt Whittaker. Now he runs in to Diaz, or Whittaker rather, and deliberately knocks him to the canvas. Diaz in desperation in the final round, trying to butt, trying to wrestle. He throws a knee into Whittaker's groin. Wild, crazy punching. Whittaker trying to stay away. They're telling him, just stay away. Don't get careless. Don't clown. Stay covered up. Use your defense. Diaz, a wild man now. Absolutely wild. Charging in with his head down. Trying to push. Trying to bull Whittaker. 1 minute to go in the 12th and final round. And Whittaker will be glad when this wrestling match is over. This track meet wrestling match that has turned into a tough guy contest. And it is finally over. And what a crazy, wild, undisciplined 12th round it was.
That's as may be. Pernell's Sweet Pea Whittaker had done enough and gained a unanimous points verdict over the previously unbeaten Diaz. Tyson was back in the headlines again. Whilst in training for his showdown with Evander Holyfield, he allegedly fondled some beauty contestants and raped one of them. The headlines said it all. A grand jury was to investigate the allegations. Meanwhile, the undisputed champion was going about his business, and that can't be his new sparring partner, surely. In Atlantic City, he was presented with the Boxer of the Year trophy by none other than the great Sugar Ray Leonard. Evander Holyfield, then, the US Boxer of the Year. Stay with us.
The colour and all the extravagance of the most expensive football league in the world. Watch Sky Sports with the best of the Italian league, Milan against Napoli, tonight at 8.
September, we here on Sky Sports rewrote the record books. James Pritchard and James Waring met for the IBF Cruiserweight title. Pritchard had taken Gary Mason to the 9th as a heavy. Here he is in a division where he should have been a lot more comfortable. Waring is a former kickboxing champion who we didn't know too much about. Don't blink.
As James Pritchard, on the right of the picture, awaited the start of this bout, he could hardly have imagined what was about to happen. Pritchard, the IBF Intercontinental Cruiserweight champion, who went 9 rounds with Gary Mason, as we've said, stepped up to dispute this vacant IBF Cruiserweight title against James Waring. There had been some doubt about this fight taking place at all. Rain had threatened, and after all, it was an open-air arena. Waring at 32 was the older man by 2 years, but Pritchard was by far the more experienced. Waring had earned his shot by outpointing 2 contestants, Craig Bojanowski and Nate Miller. The KO was timed in just 24 seconds of the first, the fastest end to a fight in World Championship history. Well, here it is again. Left jab and a big right. 24 seconds. Understandably, nobody was more excited than James Waring. Now to fight Britain's Johnny Nelson in defence of that title. Now Duke McKenzie, seen here with his IBF flyweight belt and new WBO bantamweight belt. Well, he was back in the ring in the first defence of his title against 19-year-old Mexican Cesar Soto.
Again, the crisper punching from the champion. This bantamweight title held in the past by great names like Ruben Olivares, Ide Joffre, Fighting Harada, and the pipe-smoking Aborigine Lionel Rose from Australia. As the bell goes, Duke McKenzie, the bantamweight champion, WBO version, but has he held on to it? It's going to go to the 3 judges.
McKenzie most certainly had held on. Now to the Arco Arena, Sacramento, California, and our second visit and second look at Toney Lopez and Brian Mitchell in their long-awaited rematch. Lopez, the local hero and still IBF champion, had drawn with Mitchell back in March. Mitchell had since vacated his version of the crown to secure this fight.
As evenly matched as you'll ever find 2 fighters in any weight class. Nearly identical in all major categories, and of course in the one major category to speak of, Lopez showboating here in round 2, as is his history into the 9th. Sacramento pro-Lopez crowd.
See, ironically, Mitchell hasn't had a knockout since 1989, but you can see that out of his 42 wins, he's only got 20 knockouts, so he's not what you would call a great knockout puncher, but with this type of pressure on, he can take anybody out.
Oh, Mitchell with a right hand. That certainly got Lopez's attention. Under a 1 minute, or just about at the 1 minute mark now of round number 11.
This is exactly what Murphy Griffith warned Brian Mitchell at in between rounds. Box him. Don't go in there and try to knock him out. Just box him. And he's gotten hit with 2 good right hands by Toney Lopez.
Don't count the Tiger out. Under 30 to go in the 11th. Brian Mitchell, he doesn't have a world title.
Right now, Toney should be in there. He's hit him with some good shots this round. He should go in there and put the pressure on. He's still sitting back as if he's got this comfortable lead here.
Brian Mitchell has Lopez against the ropes.
Lopez is breathing hard through the mouth right now. Not a good indication of being in tip-top shape.
Brian Mitchell comes into Sacramento, California, and takes Toney Lopez's world title, or we could say that with some certainty. Here they go in the final 30 seconds, and let's listen.
A drastic turn of events. For Mitchell to come in here where he said he wasn't going to come back to Lopez's hometown, Here he comes to try to take this title away from Tony Lopez. I think he's done it.
The fight's over.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go over the scorecards. Here's the official scoring. Fitz Werner scores the bout 116 to 112. Harry Davis scores at 117 to 111. Mike Liana scores at 116 to 112 for the winner. And new champion, Brian Mitchell.
Justice had been seen to be done. Mitchell, the new IBF super featherweight champion, and nobody more pleased. Now the ongoing saga of Iron Mike Tyson. The papers were still full of the headlines. Tyson was protesting his innocence, but had agreed to surrender to authorities and answered charges that he'd raped one of the Miss Black America pageant contestants. Tyson, 25, could face 63 years in jail if convicted. The alleged incident took place at this hotel in Indianapolis. Frank Bruno was also making headlines. He was going to box on after all. His retina surgery back in May had been successful, and the 29-year-old was on his way to another attempt at the world title. There were conditions, however, and after a 3-hour meeting at the Boxing Board of Control's office, Board Secretary John Morris made this statement.
The board has decided to reissue a boxing license to Frank Bruno. There is a condition placed on the license, and that is that before every contest, Frank Bruno must be examined by an ophthalmic consultant nominated by the board.
No one happier than Bruno when he met the press. New manager promoter Mickey Duff had this to say.
He has an unfulfilled ambition to be world champion. I can't think of any other reason he would come back.
In life, there's always doubts in everything you do, you know. I mean, if there weren't doubts, you would just do whatever you want to do. You wouldn't have no grey hairs, or you wouldn't go soft on top there, if you know what I mean. So there's always doubts, you know, but thankfully I came through with flying colours.
On the same weekend that Bruno got his good news, the world of boxing suffered another tragedy. In their long-awaited rematch, Eubank and Watson had made the headlines again. Michael Watson had collapsed in the ring at White Hart Lane at the end of their bout with a blood clot on the brain. After a series of successful operations, Watson is still in hospital, making steady progress. Our thoughts, as always, are with him and his family. On the same night as that terrible tragedy, Orlando Canizales defended his IBF bantamweight title against Fernie Morales. It was a gruelling contest for both, but Canizales proved the stronger man. At the end of the contest, Canizales was proclaimed the winner. Morales had put up a determined struggle against a man proclaimed now as one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world. Unfortunately, a couple of hours after the contest, Morales was to collapse in the car park of the arena with a blood clot on his brain. After a few days in coma, he awoke. He's since been discharged and is recovering at home. Best wishes to him too. More favourable headlines greeted Britain's Lennox Lewis, who had dispatched of Glenn McCrory in 2 rounds. Lewis, a legitimate world title contender now, but what of McCrory?
I just didn't have the strength of power, and not taking anywhere from him. No other fighter's done that. You know, I mean, I sparred with Tyson, and you know, Tyson's never given us a manhandling like that, so he did good.
You know, I've been reading a lot of criticism in the paper. You know, I realize there's a lot of jealous people out there, but I think it's good that I get that criticism because that makes me work really hard. I got criticism going into the Olympics Games, and I won that. I got criticism going into my first professional fight, and I won that. And I think, you know, keep all the critics coming. I like the comments. It just makes me work that harder.
Gentleman Glenn's career over, and only distant memories of his achievements behind him.
Can Crewe produce the upset of the round against Liverpool? Find out Monday at 7:30, live on Sky Sports.
Into the home straight now, but still plenty of good action to come. Back to Pernell Whitaker. We saw him beat Poli Diaz with that unanimous points victory in August. This time he's in against Jorge Paez. They don't come much tougher than Paez. Again, one of the great fights of the year with two genuine characters in the ring.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Good body punch by Paez.
And it set up a left hand to the head that he landed as well.
Paez is no pushover.
If you're Paez, you go back to the body now, right?
You just get wild again. The only way to get, you just can't fight this guy orthodox. Go right at him.
Another booming uppercut up the middle for Whitaker. And we're halfway through the bout. Paez, trouble with the left eye, Larry.
Yeah, he caught a punch or perhaps an inadvertent finger, and now he's bleeding.
Paez goes wild. A burst of energy following the cut to the right eyelid. And now Whitaker plants a straight right on the face of Paez. The blood is going to flow. Referee Mills Lane has said that what happened in the previous round that caused the cut to Paez was an unintentional headbutt. So apparently Mills Lane saw it, even though we couldn't on the replay.
It seems that Paez is trying to relax him a little bit so he can get home a good shot. Helps him, plays with him, and then maybe I can get home.
Whitaker with a little clowning. Almost stepped over the top of Paez's head, and Mills Lane doesn't like it, and he wants a point deducted from Pernell Whitaker.
He's warned him time and time out since the fight started by this point.
I have a question to throw out to you guys. Do you think that off of this fight, in fighting in this kind of stand-up economical style, that Whitaker is giving Julio Cesar Chavez anything to worry about?
Believe me, he can whip him.
You think he can beat Chavez?
No doubt in my mind. I see he can take a punch and he can last. His only problem is he gets too careless in the last round.
Okay, a point deduction now from Paez.
Let's go.
Can't turn your back on a boxer.
And that deduction was for holding and hitting, the same crime for which Whitaker was penalized 1 round ago. A final burst of energy. There will be no knockout.
So Pernell Whitaker making the 6th successful defense of his lightweight titles against the clown prince of the ring, Jorge Paez. Whitaker, one of the best around. This is how they were promoting the heavyweight showdown between Tommy the Duke Morrison and Ray Mercer.
I'm Tommy the Duke Morrison, a heavyweight with 24 knockouts, and I'm going to the top.
I'm Ray Mercer. I'm already at the top. I won the gold medal, and this is my heavyweight championship belt.
Morrison's from the heartland of America, and he's got something to prove.
I want to win this fight more than anything I've ever wanted to accomplish in my life.
Mercer's an ex-Army sergeant who's tough as nails.
Tommy Morrison, this is not Rush.
Catch the new generation of undefeated heavyweights now.
Counter left, a chopping left to the jaw of Mercer.
That's Mercer just jumping in without setting up any punches.
A right uppercut from Morrison. Morrison has a wicked left hook. He can put you to sleep with it. As Dan has mentioned earlier, he's never gone past 6 rounds, however. He's going after Mercer in the far corner. 2 minutes remaining, round 3. Mercer driven back into the corner from a barrage. His mouth is cut.
Well, Mercer, again, getting back to what I said about not really having boxing skills. Here he's been hit with the same combination 4 times now. A right to the body, come up with that right uppercut. And he doesn't move his head. He still has that peekaboo style. He keeps on doing that. Morrison's smart enough to keep on using it.
Round 5 scheduled for 12, and let's see if Morrison does what his corner suggested, that he has to go low. He has to go to the body. And Mercer is more lively now. There's Mercer. Right, left, and Morrison is going to go down.
They should stop this fight right now.
The fight is stopped. The fight is stopped. Ray Mercer with a barrage stunned Morrison, and as he slipped to the ropes, Tony Perez stepped in and stopped it.
Pandemonium in this ring. Well, exactly what Ray had to do, he did. He stayed on that outside, hit him with the right hand. Tommy never recovered from that one good shot.
European super middleweight champion James Cook had changed camps before his next defense.
7th round then. And on the line, the European Championship at 12 stone super middleweight. Blitz of punches from Cook at the start of the round. Oh, that right uppercut again. Surely Evander can't take too much more of that kind of thing.
That was a very good start from Cook. Called with some very good shots.
Pulverizing punches from James Cook. Yeah, right uppercut again. He's landing that with increasing regularity. And now he has Evander on the ropes and looking a bit open, and the Finn wants to hold on, wants to have a minute to gain respite.
He's still there, Evander. He's still there fighting all the way. Every time Cook hits him with a few good shots, he comes back very, very game, very strong. I'm not sure what he's doing now. It looks like he might quit.
He's gone to his corner. I think he's had enough. I think he's had enough. He has. And James Cook has retained the European Super Middleweight Championship. Well, what a strange ending that was. Evander, one moment, looked game, strong, giving it everything. And the next second, he thought to himself, can't do it. Reality crowded in, and he didn't want to take any more punishment. And this fellow, James Cook, is still the European Super Middleweight Champion, and a world title opportunity with Mickey Duff now in the camp cannot be very far away, I would suggest.
The heavyweight showdown everyone wanted to see was off. Holyfield against Tyson, scheduled for November the 8th, was put on ice when Tyson injured a ribcage in training. We're still waiting. Frank Bruno in his first comeback fight was to take on this man, John Emmon. John who, they said? Still, you've got to start somewhere. He was the Benelux champion. Now Hector Camacho in trouble with the police for driving his car with a lady companion on his lap. Who does he think he is?
I'm too sexy for my car, too sexy for my car, too sexy by far. And I'm too sexy for my hat, too sexy for my hat. What you think about that? I'm a model, you know what I mean. And I do my little turn on the catwalk. Yeah, on the catwalk, on the catwalk. Yeah, I shake my little tush on the catwalk.
We saw James Waring rewriting the record books back in September with that fastest ever knockout. He found himself in the ring in November with Donald Wingfield. Could Waring do what he'd done to Pritchard? That would be asking a lot.
Round number 5, scheduled for 12. The IBF World Cruiserweight title on the line. On the left, the champion, James Waring. Donald Wingfield, the challenger in the red. And has Waring turned the tide here, Michael, in round 5?
Sam, you noted the shift in the tide, so to speak, to Waring. And I gave the last round to Waring. I've got Wingfield up by 1 point now, 39-38 through 4 rounds.
They are scheduled for 12, and of course 3 judges at ringside will do the scoring. Robert Exton from Richmond, also Ben DePrade from Richmond, and John Witt, who's refereed some of the preliminary fights here, also from Richmond. Those are the three judges scoring. Bill Brennan, the ageless one from Warsaw, Virginia, is, of course, the IBF supervisor in attendance tonight. And the referee, 28 title fight, Al Rothenberg. And Wingfield, an accumulation of punches, finally in one to the breadbasket, and then one to the right eye, is put him down, and he may not recover.
Not only is he down, he's also cut, bleeding from under the left eye. That's it.
And it's over. James Waring has not only shown his fist, but now showing his kickboxing talents as well. And his wife, Jean Waring, celebrates at ringside as Waring defends his title. The knockout comes in the 5th round, and it is a knockout.
Well, from the world cruiserweight champion to the world heavyweight champion, and the headline said it all. Holyfield, after 2 changes of opponent, was to fight Smoking Bert Cooper. Cooper proved he wasn't there for the ride.
Right uppercut from Holyfield, who's got good variety as well as speed in those fists. Oh, it's a good right from Cooper, and that shakes Holyfield up a bit. Holyfield was hurt by that. He's having to cover up. Goodness me. Holyfield's all over the place. He's really badly shaken. And that is going to be counted as a knockdown. 8 count. What drama we have here in the 3rd round. Is the 22-1 outsider going to get Holyfield here? If he does it, he's got to do it in this round, because Holyfield is all of a daze at the moment. He's still not over it. He was caught by a right hand. Desperate moments for the champion. Is this going to be another Tokyo? Cooper again, thudding through punches to the head. Holyfield having to cover up. He almost went there. He hardly knows what night it is in there at the moment, Holyfield. And now Holyfield's getting in with some big head punches. He's looking for the finish now. Cooper bravely trying to cover up. Some of them are hitting the gloves. A lot of them are getting through to the head. Cooper can't take a lot more of this. Mills Lane is looking closely. He may dive in here. He may stop it. He does stop it. Cooper couldn't take much more of that. It's all over.
No problems for Britain's Lennox Lewis, though, who was fighting on the undercard. Lennox is a 6-1 shot now for the world title after a 3-round demolition job on Tyrell Biggs.
If Biggs is knocked down once more in this round, this 3rd round, that will be an automatic conclusion. The right hand thudding through from Lennox Lewis. Desperate moments here for Tyrell Biggs. Lewis is looking to finish it. Uppercut right. Biggs is all over. That is it. Finish. 3rd round. Lennox Lewis does the job 5 rounds quicker than Riddick Bowe did that. And that was very impressive indeed.
With all the anti-boxing campaigning that has been going on of late, Frank Bruno did us no favours with his 1-round demolition of John Emmon. It wasn't a fight to remember, but the hugely popular Bruno did what he had to do and was still the people's favourite. Mr. Wonderful. But what did Frank himself think of the night's proceedings?
Tell us about John Emmon. He seemed to go down pretty easily, didn't he?
Not too easily. I caught him with a good punch. Unfortunately, he was down a little bit on one knee, half. I caught him with another punch, and I got told off by the referee, but that's how it goes. He said, he would have done the same to me, so that's how it goes. So it's all right. It's all right now.
Conditioning and timing-wise, how was that?
Still a little bit rusty, but still, been at the ring for 3 years, it's understandable.
You've done a good job. You've been out for 3 years, and look what it means to people. So
yeah, it's nice, very nice. Cheers, nice one. Thank you very much, everybody.
Chris Eubank decided to box on 2 months after that fateful night when Michael Watson was so terribly injured. A lot of painful deliberation for Chris, who said he would get back in the ring. He fights in February. Now, postponed from August was the WBC welterweight clash between Simon Brown and James Buddy McGirt. Brown, the favourite, by far the more experienced.
Brown seems to have the adrenaline pumping more now than does the challenger, Buddy McGirt, but he still isn't able to land any punches of significance, I'd say. See, Buddy McGirt now is not throwing the real good combinations he threw earlier in the fight, and as they say that, he gets through with the right hand. Simon misses his opportunity. Some real tough infighting in this fight, too. When they're inside, it's Simon Brown doing the winning inside. Buddy McGirt needs some punching room. He missed that punch again. Simon Brown nails him with the right hand, spins the head around, catches him with the left hook. McGirt is strong, although he's caught with the left hook. Comes back with a combination of his own to the head of Brown. At time he makes Brown pay, but not enough because Brown is on the assault again. Buddy McGirt is running, makes him miss the punches, catches him with the right hand. This again is round 8, and a good round 8. And again, McGirt lands that combination, although Simon just barely again. He's been just slightly off throughout the course of the evening here. Coming to you live from the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas, and this has been a good one. Oh, he's got Simon Brown goes down. 2 shots catch him. Counts up to 4 and 5. Brown's legs are wobbled very, very much so. Now let's see if he can show the heart of a champion with 20 seconds left. He was caught with 2 shots that time. Real good shots. His legs still aren't back to 100%. His legs look very, very heavy right now. 10 seconds remaining in the round. Maybe what Simon should be doing is hanging on. McGirt looks very, very winded himself. Catches him again with the right hand. And I'll tell you, the champ looks ready to go again. The bell ends the round. We still have 2 rounds to go, so don't move. Inside of 20 seconds to go. Right hand gets through. There'll be no knockout. And right to the end, Buddy McGirt continues to give the boxing lesson. A real tough fight for Simon Brown.
We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Dalby Shirley scores at 119-108. Rai Solis scores at 117-110, as does Jerry Roth, 117-110. All 3 in favor of the winner and the new WBC welterweight champion of the world, James Buddy McGirt.
McGirt, the new champion. Boxing was making headlines everywhere. The anti-boxing campaigning was still strong, but in the House of Commons, the Prime Minister, John Major, no less, defended the sport when questioned as to its safety.
In view of the terrible brain damage suffered by 2 boxers in recent bouts, would the Prime Minister tell the House his views on boxing, and would he tell us whether he agrees with the British Medical Association's motion that boxing should be banned in this country?
No, I do not agree with the banning of boxing in this country. I do not agree with the banning of boxing. I think it is important that there is proper medical attention and that the referee has full discretion to stop the bout whenever he wishes. But boxing should not be banned in this country, and any move to do so would not have my support.
Good news for boxing fans. Not far to go now. Stay with us.
Celebration of the most spectacular goal action every Monday and Wednesday at 6, only on Sky Sports. Who you gonna call? Netbusters.
The heat of the action, Sky Sports.
A busy year one way and the other. So to December, we should really have been winding down. Not a bit of it. We've seen a lot of British boxers in action in this programme, a number of them winning titles, which is great for the domestic scene. Carl Crook had to travel to Italy in order to make his challenge for the European lightweight title, held by Antonio Renzo. Crook was the underdog, as any opponent fighting in Italy is.
Good attacking stuff from Crook right at the start, Alan.
Yeah, you know, I mean, everything's against Crook in this fight. He's in Italy fighting an Italian. The people are rooting for the Italian, but just saying, he opened up with a flurry of punches and got through. He's just got to take his time, don't get overawed with the crowd, and just box the Italian properly.
Well, Crook in the claret and blue, just to remind you, a former paratrooper ranked in the top 12 in the world by the WBC, the WBO, and the IBF.
He looks very strong, the Italian.
Oh, and he's got Renzo in trouble. And he's having to take an 8 count, so this is a great start for Carl Crook here, away from home. And that will do wonders for his confidence. Renzo seems to be feeling the weight of Crook's punching.
He does indeed. I mean, what Crook's doing, he's not getting overawed with it, he's not going forward. He's letting the southpaw Italian come forward, which is a major upset because the Italians like it to go on to them. So Crook's boxing, taking this fight nice and steady.
Not one of the great stylists of world boxing, far from it, but a bit of a handful. Oh, and that's a good left, big left, and he's dropped Crook. He's dropped Crook with that. And he goes down. He's on one knee. He looks as if he's going to get up with the count at 8. He has to take the 8 count. He's experienced enough to stay down and let his head clear. Logic says, are you all right? He nods. But this is big trouble now for Carl Crook.
Yeah, he got up all right at 8, but he still looks very wobbly. He's just taking a blinding shot to the chin, one to the body.
But look at the way he's coming back. But Crook really here, oh, he's very unsteady. It may just take one well-placed shot here to finish Crook's challenge. A lot of bravery.
He's only fighting on instinct here, and he's holding on. He's trying desperately. The round's ended. He looks very, very wobbly, struggling to settle his stall.
But Crook hasn't done badly in this round, considering what a nightmare the last one was.
No, he's come back fair. Just at the moment, he's trying hard. He's going to have a go, so he's having a fight and getting caught again. I think it's all over.
And the referee has stopped it.
That's it.
It's all over. He was caught with another left in the 6th round, shaken up again.
A brave challenge by Crook thwarted. Recognise the haircut? That's right, terrible Terry Norris. His opponent here, the rough, tough Argentinian, having his 73rd fight since turning professional only 5 years earlier, Jorge Castro.
I mean, Norris at this moment is only hitting Castro on the gloves. There's no real venom in the punches. A couple of McCallum got through there, but they're still high up.
Oh, he's hurt now, I think, Castro. He's staggered back into the ropes there. He's taken some big uppercuts. Look at that, left hook to the body. Oh, I'm not quite sure how much more of this Castro should even be allowed to take. It's very one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, the uppercut is the most dangerous punch in the world. I mean, there's not very many fighters that use it, but when you use it properly, it's a devastating punch.
You see, Castro will go on all night. Well, he still has got something left. Norris will lay on the ropes, but I think maybe there... Oh, Norris was caught there with the right cross. Took it, though, didn't he? Big round again for Terry Norris. Towards the end of his career, I reckon Maradona might have been up to about, not light middleweight, but super middleweight.
Great appreciation from the crowd. They love what they're looking at.
And Castro takes those as well. It's unbelievable. Punishment raining in on this brave but out of his depth challenger. Well, the judges are from Italy, France and Switzerland, and I tell you, they'd have to come from Mars to give this to Castro.
Good fighter.
Excellent fighter. That really was a superb display of boxing from Terry Norris.
Terry Norris, a class act, and from one to another. Orlando Canizales, this time fighting Ray Minus Jr.
This is the 11th. Champion Canizales in the blue. And on my scorecard, at the moment. I've got him a couple of rounds in front now. What about you, Billy?
Yep, also on my card, he's a couple of rounds up. I think if he just presses the advantage now, he'll convincingly take it.
I've seen Canizales in more impressive mood than this, I must say. I've seen him looking sharper, more devastating. And it's been a very worthy challenge indeed from Ray Minus Jr. But the impression increasingly is that his display of boxing skills isn't quite going to be enough.
I don't think so. Canizales is starting to get the upper hand now. With all credit to Ray Minus Jr. He's coming to the fight with not much of a chance, and he's just shown the boxing world what he can do.
Mentioned Kelvin Seabrooks, from whom Orlando Canizales took this title. That same Seabrooks knocked out Minus in 3 rounds. Indeed, he's been stopped or knocked out 4 times. Minus, so he's caught by that right there, sent reeling backwards. This is trouble, and it's over. It's over in the 11th round. Referee steps in. Judges won't be required. Orlando Canizales still has his IBF bantamweight title. Stoppage in the 11th round.
Well, I think it was quite a bit premature there by the referee. I know what we were saying earlier about referees letting the fighters take too much punishment. But that was a bit premature there.
Well, from the pinnacles of a current world champion to the despair of a former champion, one man dominated the headlines throughout the year, and for all the wrong reasons. Iron Mike Tyson, who goes on trial in January on rape charges. Tyson, the youngest world heavyweight champion, who brought so much to the sport, now in a wilderness all of his own. The late Camacho, the man who discovered Tyson, the man who made him like so many of the other great champions, champions who Tyson had idolized as a boy. Surely this wouldn't have happened if he'd been around today. There is a saying in boxing that you can take the man out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the man. That's it. If you've just joined us here on Sky, I hope we've done enough to whet your appetite for a terrific year ahead. 1 or 2 dates we know about already. I wish we didn't this one. Mike Tyson in court on January the 27th on a rape charge. Evander Holyfield has said he'll be in the ring 2 or 3 times in 1992. Frank Bruno reckons he'll get a shot at the title. So too does Lennox Lewis. Stay with Sky Sports for the best regular boxing on British television. Ringside is back on January the 2nd. A new day and a new host. It's Thursdays from now on with Gary Norman. Be nice to him. The first show really shouldn't be missed. The main event features Mike McCallum and James Toney for the IBF middleweight title. It's already being talked about as a classic. From us on Ringside, a Happy New Year. See you soon.